Hi, and welcome to Carolina Varsity's 2015 Week 4. This will be Charlotte Phillip O'Berry going over to play Cuthbertson. I'm Dale Ross.
Now I'm the pet man, Matt Morrow, and Barry's coming off a bye. So they've had 2 weeks to get ready for a Cuthbertson team who features Austin Kendall at quarterback, who's a very good player in his own right. But Cuthbertson's coming off the loss to Pinecrest.
Right.
Big loss at home in that Union County showdown they played on Friday night. Key for Barry's pretty obvious here. You got to shut down the Cuthbertson passing game. The good thing for Barry is what Cuthbertson runs is similar to what Barry runs on offense. A spread look, a lot of 3 and 4 wide receiver sets, throwing screens, quick passes, slants, things like that. So they'll have a good idea how to defend it. And Barry has good speed on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm going to tell you something. This is a big game for Barry. Cuthbertson cannot take Barry lightly because Barry has ability. They have athletes. They can throw the ball. They have a dual threat quarterback. And as their starter, number 14, I'm sorry I don't know his name, but then they have the backup, number 1, Digsby, who comes in, and he just comes in and makes things happen. And, you know, Barry had the big win over Rocky River, and Cuthbertson's coming off a loss at home. They look up and see Barry. This is an old Rocky River 2A conference matchup.
That's right.
A little history there. So Barry has been down to Cuthbertson before and won. Players are different, but the environment will be familiar to them.
Exactly.
For Cuthbertson, the key for them, they got to control the speed Barry has, especially on offense. Cuthbertson has some athletes, but I don't think they have the same caliber of athletes they had last year when they made the run to the 3A state semifinals.
Right.
So if Barry can get those guys in space and make plays, especially on those screens that they like to run, they can cause some trouble for Cuthbertson. Don't be surprised if this game is closer than what you think based off of the teams involved here.
I agree. I might even go out on a limb and say I might pick Barry to win this ball game. I think they have a very decent opportunity. Think about Barry between now and when they were in the Rocky River 2A conference, is that Barry seems to me, I've said this before, is I think they scheme better now. They appear to be scheming better. And I was just thinking as you were going through, one of the other things about Barry that's different this year is that their special teams play is better. Their kicking game is, and this is usually a point that's weak for these schools, especially the West Side schools in Charlotte. Seem to, kicking games just never seem to be a big thing for them. And Barry's got. They seem to have that element.
Very good kicker.
Exactly.
Yes.
So they have more of the pieces of the puzzle. A team that's not a huge power team. Just speaking about Cuthbertson,
right?
They're not having
a team.
Exactly. They're not going up against a team that's going to power them, which is really more where you're going to hurt Barry is by having good line play that can. Move guys around and not have to worry about matching up athletes to athletes out on the outside.
Right.
That's where you can really hurt Barry. So this kind of plays into Barry's favor of if they had to pick the type of team that they had to play or defend against. I think they would prefer to defend against a team like Cuthbertson. Cuthbertson's got to, I think that element of bringing Digsby in is. It's been huge in a couple of ball games, right? It was huge in the East Mecklenburg game and that win, and it was huge in the Rocky River ball game.
It was.
So that kid is just a whole nother element of threat that, Cuthbertson really has to think about preparing for 2 different quarterbacks because they're probably going to see 2 different quarterbacks.
And I'd expect this. Coach Johnson, coach at Cuthbertson, used to be at Hopewell. And another thing about him, before he was at Hopewell, he came from Barry.
That's right.
So these guys know each other very well. And I'd expect Coach Johnson to have a couple things up his sleeve for Barry, knowing that, Coach Howard has already got a good idea of what his offensive scheme is and such.
Right.
So it's been a good game. A good strategic game. Like you said about Barry scheming. Coach Johnson is all right. He's a heck of an offensive play caller. So if you want to see a real good strategy type of game, go check this game out.
Could be a high scoring game too.
Yeah.
Some of the offenses, both of
Yeah.
these offenses could put points up.
Yeah.
So great. Hey, Friday night, Cuthbertson. Thanks for watching.